Hi, it's Ahimsa here, and I am so excited to do this reading for you guys today because this is going to be the very first reading that's going to be all about exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now. So, how is this reading going to go, and what am I going to recommend you do as you move through listening to whichever pile you end up choosing? First things first, I would highly recommend that you do have like a journal near you or your notes open on your phone, something that will be easily accessible for you to keep going back to while you're listening to the reading, because I do believe that this reading is going to be very dedicated to helping you step into your power, helping you become the best version of yourself. And the only way we can really do that in life is by looking back at all the gunk and all the icky, funky stuff that led us to being who we are today. So what that typically means is there might be some very uncomfortable things that might come up, some very dark things, things that maybe are hard to look at on your own. Thus, maybe is why you ended up choosing a reading to listen to this. But regardless of that, remember, everything in life that might be scary to us is also one of the biggest lessons or the biggest pieces of wisdom we'll be able to gain in life as a whole. So in this reading, you're probably going to gain a lot of insight, a lot of clarity, a lot of answers to things that maybe you were looking for internally within. Making sure that you keep that in mind as we move through this reading. I do believe that that is how this reading will best serve you. If you take notes, if you follow along the way, maybe pause doing some introspective moments for yourself. Remember, this reading might be pretty intense for some people, just as a disclaimer. So please make sure that if it does resonate, you do take the time to breathe through it, allow yourself to process any information that's coming through, and also make sure that you check back with it and you don't just use this reading as one way to look at it, because your shadow self wants to make sure that you're validating them along the way. The shadow self is a very complex thing. I will definitely be posting a video on that, like diving deeper into what a shadow self is, how we can really interact with them, engage with them, etc. But that will be a different topic for another video. With that being said, let's get into this. So how I love to organize my videos, it's all about showing you with full transparency how I do the piles, how I organize the piles so you guys can choose from them moving forward. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So what I mean by this, I'm gonna be shuffling in full time, and I'm gonna let you guys take a look how I end up choosing the piles for each category that you're gonna get to choose from. So like I said, this one is already coming out for pile number 1 for what their shadow self wants to tell them, as well as this card. I have no specific system on how to do this. I kind of follow my intuition and allow things to come out in the way that they're meant to, energetically in their time. With that being said as well, you can definitely just skip through this portion if this is something that you're not really interested, but I always love to keep it just in case there are people that are a little bit biased, or a little bit skeptic, and they want to make sure that I am definitely picking these out intuitively and I'm not just putting these piles out randomly, because there's times where in the reading you're gonna be like, whoa, the synchronicities are just too real, it's kind of creepy, how did she blindly pick these out? I want you guys to be able to see that for yourself, so here's the proof. All right, and with that being said as well, please keep in mind that there is always that little centering and grounding practice that I always offer before the pile selection portion of the video, because I want to make sure that when you guys pick the pile, you're aligned and grounded and centered within yourself, and you're aligned with the frequency of unconditional love. I'm trying to get you from maybe where you're at right now, which might be some anxiety-ridden thoughts, and get you all the way onto the other end of the spectrum where love and unconditional love really exists, inner peace. So definitely highly recommend you do listen to that portion of the video. The tuning forks are a really healing way to really listen to the frequencies that sound healing has for you to help you center and ground yourself within. It'll help kind of tune down any thoughts or paranoid feelings you might be experiencing before selecting your pile. That way you know that when you're choosing it, you are in the most level-headed space that you can be at before selecting your pile. That way you know you're listening to exactly what you're meant to in that moment. All right? So with that being said, we're gonna do the time lapse here. I'm gonna start moving through organizing each pile, and here you go. Okay, my loves, now that we were able to select all the cards for each pile, now what I really want you to do, before you even do this, I don't even want you guys to look at this, go take a moment to go ground yourself in that grounding and centering practice with the sound tuning forks, because I do feel like that will be the best way to help you really make your decision moving forward. And with that being said, I'm just gonna start to organize, make everything look really nice so we have enough space to do the readings for everybody. And I will meet you in the next portion of the video, all right? Welcome to the grounding and centering portion of today's reading. Before you choose the pile that you're most drawn towards, let's take a moment to ground and center ourselves. Close your eyes if you can, and take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely, holding it for a moment at the top, and then slowly exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension or stress you may be holding on to. Feel your body relaxing with each breath. Imagine roots extending from the soles of your feet deep into the earth, anchoring you securely to the ground. Feel the stability and support of the earth beneath you. As you breathe in, visualize a warm, golden light entering through the top of your head, filling your entire body with a sense of calm and peace. This light grounds you, centers you, and connects you to your inner wisdom. In a moment, I will play some tuning fork frequencies to help deepen your relaxation and enhance your connection to your intuition. Simply listen to the sounds and allow them to wash over you, bringing you further into a state of peace and centeredness. Keeping that centered and grounded energy, allow it to guide you
as you select the pile you feel most drawn towards. Trust your intuition and let it lead you to the message you need to hear today. Thank you for taking this moment to ground and center yourself. Now, let's begin the reading.
Hi, my loves. Again, I really hope that grounding and centering practice was very helpful for you, because I know it definitely is very helpful for me. With that being said, if you guys would like, again, we have Sugilite, Shungite, Howlite, and Aventurine. Here, you could take a pause to find out exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now. I will give you guys a moment to select your piles, and with that being said, I'm just gonna light up some Palo Santo to encourage some further clarity coming through. And with that being said, you could take a moment to pause this video and choose out the pile that you feel most called towards. All right, my loves, I'm so happy that you got to make that decision, and I will meet you in the next part of this video. Bye. Hi, pile number 1, and if you have chosen Sugilite as the pile for you today to hear exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now, then this pile is for you, okay? I am very excited to dive into this because not only is this my first time doing this topic on video, but secondly, I am just obsessed with helping you guys become the best version of yourselves, and the number one best way we can really do this in life is by going back to root sources of what led us to being the way we are today. And talking to your shadow self, hearing what they want to tell you right now is the ultimate best way to do that, you know? So let's start with, you actually have multiple crystals here, but the first card that you got to help you pick out your pile was Sugilite, so we will start with that. With Sugilite right here. And who needs it? Anyone planning an escape from the confines of space and time, where to put it, wherever you dream, meditate, or grow your light. When to use it, when you're called to take your spiritual practice to another level. It's easy to stay stuck in something that isn't working. There's a comfort to safe and status quo, but there's an unknown out there with unlimited blissed possibilities. Ask Sugilite to light the way there. Stretch the limits of your imagination, all right? This is very intriguing to me because this is about someone wanting to escape. So maybe there's something to do with escapist tendencies here. I'm actually gonna leave the imagery of Sugilite here because there's such a beautiful imagery, first of all. Like, this card is beautiful. And next up for your crystals, you have obsidian. And who needs it? Anyone looking to cut out negative people and patterns from their lives. And where to put it? In your pocket, like a concealed weapon against bad vibes. When to use it? When thinking positively seems out of the question. When dark forces are at work, dig in, arm yourself with obsidian, and throttle back. Protect your soul. This is very interesting to me. Why? Because, well, first of all, you have Sugilite, which is about Fantasyland, escapist tendencies, and then you also have obsidian. This is the ethereal realm energy, and this is someone who too much energy and needs to protect themselves. When I think of obsidian, I think of, like, if you want intense cutting out of people that aren't doing you good in your life, you use obsidian for that. Because smoky quartz, yes, it helps protect you, but I feel like it has more of a soothing protection energy to it. It's more flowy in its nature, whereas obsidian is more like cutthroat, get out of my face, setting, if you're trying to set really serious boundaries for yourself, like I feel like obsidian is the best crystal for that. And then last but not least, we also have bismuth. And bismuth, I always found a very intriguing crystal because it's not really a crystal, but it's also not really a mineral. It's like a mix of a bunch of different things. Whoever needs it is the easily distracted, burners, people who are very bored, where to put it on your desk in Silicon Valley and in your utility belt in Black Rock City. When to use it is for those looking for some psychedelic influence. Okay, intriguing. Let's keep note here. Psychedelic came up twice. You got the word psychedelic coming in Sugilite, and you also got psychedelic coming in bismuth. So this is interesting. So there's something to do with fantasy world here, energy, from what your shadow self at least is trying to tell you from what I'm picking up right now. And without swallowing the red pill, lie on your back and take 10 powerful breaths through your mouth with bismuth placed on your forehead. Then break out of tired gray thought patterns and get en route to a more colorful, energized life. Rewrite your code with rainbows. All right, rewrite your code with rainbows. So we have rewrite your code with rainbows, protect your soul, and stretch the limits of your imagination. Okay, let's keep that in mind moving forward. I'm actually gonna leave all the crystals here. Yes, perfect. And then with that being said, let us continue going in to the rest of your oracle cards. And with that being said, let's start into this. So with one of your first chakra cards, you have Bittersweet with the throat chakra. Next up, you have with the solar plexus, Enlightenment. With one of the Astro decks, you have fourth house roots. Okay, we're getting somewhere here. This is already intense energy. You also have Saturn with truth. Wow. Again, I have no right or wrong way of where I place the cards. I allow my intuition to guide me in the reading, so wherever the cards fall on the table, that's where they will stay. But again, we might also have to move some up in case the tarot cards don't fit. We'll see. We'll figure this out as we go. Next chakra card you have with third eye, Imbalance. I don't know why I wanted to say imbalance, so I'm going to keep that in mind moving forward, but we actually have the word balance here. But these people are angry. And this is actually is imbalanced. There's one more turn to the end over there. I don't know if you can see that. All right, for the next and last astrology card, you have Taurus, I have. And last chakra card, you have with third eye, Recovery. You got two cards from the Sacred Rebel deck with Going Beyond Normal. This is actually beautiful. So this is somebody who thinks very in depth to things, but I feel like the clock, this looks like a clock to me, like it's stuck on a time. Gears aren't moving. There's a key coming out of her mouth. These are buttons. Okay, I'm just keeping that in mind, and then there's pennies here. And then last but not least for your oracle cards, we have What Is Already With You. This is absolutely beautiful imagery. The darkness, and then the white butterflies coming out. And then I see like a mandala here, but it for some reason keeps reminding me of a clock. Just like this one. So, what I'm seeing here, pile number 1, for what your shadow self wants to tell you right off the bat, you are stuck in your head a lot. Or at least you are living in a reality that doesn't necessarily feel maybe... Okay, there's a couple things. So, it might feel as if the reality that you're living in right now isn't one that you chose for yourself, obviously. And I don't know if this is a reality that you try to escape on a normal basis, because there is an avoidance here 100% coming through, where it's hard to face what's right in front of you because you don't even know if what you're seeing right in front of you is real or not, and it's because of the way that your mind is working right now. I'm seeing that you have a very imaginative mind, but this mindset, the way that your mind works for you, it's not really working for you right now. It's currently working against you because of a lot of things that have led you to being where you are today. Like, and what I mean by this is your childhood or your traumas or your past, like a lot to do with the before and not the now or the future. This is somebody who, or at least from what your shadow self is telling me to tell you, they feel as if you have neglected them, or not, okay, that's the wrong word, forgotten about them, or forgotten about that time, or you're doing everything in your power to forget about that time without actually addressing the you in that time that you're trying to avoid. I hope this makes sense. That deserves your attention, that deserves your validation, because that you in that time that you're running away from your past, there was a version of you at that time that felt so freaking misunderstood or they were in a situation, not even misunderstood, but there's this energy of like they didn't what they were going through they didn't choose for themselves. And it's as if it was like the environmental, like the surroundings influencing it all, like that. The stuff that they were stuck in at that time like wasn't fair for them to go through. And the fact that you've been running away from facing that truth, or facing the truth that your shadow self has been trying to tell you this whole time, this one in particular from what I'm connecting with, it's like you're distracting yourself from seeing the things that are actually supposed to help you grow in the end of the day. And you're doing it out of protective mechanisms. Like you have a really, like I said, your imagination is very strong. Like you're very good at being able to sort of camouflage. Let me figure out how to say this. Like your mind loves to play tricks on you. I see like it loves putting rose tinted glasses on you. And what I mean by rose tinted glasses is it tries to make you be an optimist, but an optimist in the wrong ways, where you're kind of just band-aiding or sugarcoating over what really happened to you, or at least from what your shadow self has been trying to tell you. Like I feel like they're very upset. And when I say upset, I feel mad. Like they're angry. And they're angry because they feel like they deserve justice for something. And something that was unjust happened to them, or there was an experience that happened to you in your past that your shadow self has been trying to make you see. And you're running away from it rather than facing it head on because of this fear of like, I don't want to see it. Nah, like life is decent right now. Let's not make it worse. I don't know where you're at in life. It just feels like it's sort of basic. Like it doesn't feel like I don't know how to explain this. Like, yes, we all go through stressors. Like life is, like, what I mean by basic, it's not like an insult. It's more as if, like, yeah, you go through the average, normal stressors in day-to-day life that everyone goes through is what I'm trying to say, like when they're building their own life. Like, you're going through all that stuff. The normal stuff, the things that everyone goes through. But it's like there's a gnawing feeling in the back of your head that's eating away at you, and that's not a feeling, it's your shadow self. Like, this is a shadow self you that has been trying to tell you something for a long time, and every time they try to come, you snap. It's like you basically snap your fingers and put blindfolds up over your eyes, or you put earmuffs over your ears because you don't want to hear it. And they feel super shunned by you. They're very upset because I feel like they hold something. Like, I don't know if I'm seeing a channel message, like I'm seeing a very specific image in my head coming up where it's as if in the past you tried to do something for you, speak up or do something that made you stand out. Like you had a personality trait within you, pile number one, where you were able to really stand out from the crowd. Maybe you were like the black sheep of the family, or you felt that way. And something happened that made that part of you that kind of sparkled a little bit extra, had an extra twinkle in your eye, that extra, like if you were a rainbow, right, there's all those like the colors, like the basic colors of the rainbow, you had that extra color in your rainbow that made you different. And something happened in your past that made that whole part of you dissipate before your very eyes. But that part of you is the shadow self. And I feel like there is that part of you though is like a gift that was given to you to make life better for you down the road. I don't know why that's coming through. That's not even what I'm seeing in the oracle cards. It's just a channel message. But now I feel like this is where we should pull out your tarot cards and see exactly, like, getting more clarification on what your shadow self really, really wants to tell you, because I feel that what I'm saying is like a transitional moment to get the tarot cards out. So let us do that now. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna move the cards up so we have enough space to put the tarot cards. And I also want to make sure that I'm not getting rid of any of the imagery here, so you guys can really take a nice look at your cards as well. So I'm just going to fast forward this part, take a moment to get yourself comfortable as well while I do this. Okay, pile number one, let us get into your tarot cards now. So I am very excited to do this with you. All right. So what does pile number one's shadow self want to tell them right now? put this out to the side. All your tarot cards. All right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right. This feels like your significator card. No, this one. So what you have is the 6 of Cups as your significator card coming up, pile number 1. So I'm going to place that card right here. And by the way, this significator card makes a lot of sense for what we've already looked at, because the 6 of Cups is usually about the past, nostalgic feeling, something about the past and yearning for it. But what's actually really cool is there's a unicorn here. So it's like I said, you're the black sheep. Maybe this unicorn is a symbolic of what your shadow self looks like or has the energy of. So whatever you feel like a unicorn embodies for you, this is what I feel like the energy of what your shadow self's qualities have, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind as we move forward. So to start your reading, we have the movement of Pentacles, which is also the Knight of Pentacles. We have the 8 of Wands. We have the Heart of Wands, which is also known as the Queen of Wands. The Ace of Cups. The Spirit of Wands, which is also known as the King of Wands. We have the Heart of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups. The Innocence of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. The Movement of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands. I'm noticing there is a lot of wand energy here, like crazy. So I'm going to keep that in mind, but it actually makes a lot of sense here, and I'll get into it. We have the 7 of Cups. The Heart of Pentacles. The 8 of Cups. The 9 of Cups. Okay, I knew okay, this is making sense to exactly what I saw here, but I wanted to keep my mouth shut before we because I wanted to make sure that we got the tarot cards out before I said what I was thinking. So now this is all making a lot of sense to me. The 2 of Cups. The Moon card. 2 cards left. The 10 of Cups. And lastly, we have the 9 of Wands. I feel like this is like the message, like the ending. So I'm going to put that like that. All right. Okay. So, pile number 1. This reading speaks volumes. And what I mean by this is I intuitively laid out your cards and how I felt called to lay them down. There's no right or wrong way that I lay my cards out. I allow them to lay out in the way that Source wants me to lay them out. I don't really care about how they look aesthetically wise. I just care about the message that's coming through, because that's what's going to help you at the end of the day, not how it looks. All right. So with this message, I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see everything. You know what? I'm going to do this like this. That's better. All right. So this 2 cards go together in their energies. All right. So pile number 1, in terms of what you need to know right now, There's a lot. I'm going to be honest here, because from what your shadow self wants to tell you, you definitely let go or contained, repressed a part of you, a piece of you that's very important for your overall spiritual journey in life and your overall end goal that you have in life. I don't know if you have a certain desire or a dream that you desire to achieve in this lifetime, pile number one, but it feels as if this shadow self holds a big key to helping you unlock that and attain that for yourself in this lifetime. And if you've been feeling like where you've been at in life was too basic for too long or too like mundane, I'm hearing like it's been like, it feels like it's easy to know what to expect in your life right now on a day-to-day basis. Like it's not, there's no newness here right now. It feels very generic, and you deserve more. You feel like you've been wanting more in your life. So keeping in mind, pile number one, I will be talking as if I am your shadow self speaking to you directly. So keep that in mind moving forward, because I want to make sure these channel messages come through, and I feel like the only way it can come through is if I allow your shadow self to come through and speak to you directly. So starting off, you have been stuck at some point in your life for way too long now, and it's all because you never checked up on me when I thought you would. There were so many times when I thought that you were going to come and see me and check in with me, see how I'm doing. There were so many opportunities where you could have done some introspective work, where you could have done some journaling to reach out, to heal, to look back at that point that you know what I'm talking about, where you felt small, where you felt worthless, where you felt unseen, unvalued, unrecognized for the gifts that you hold. And you let me suffer inside you for so long because you were too afraid to see me for who I truly am. And what I mean by see me, I mean yourself. You never let yourself see the truth, the true power you're holding. And I had the key that could have helped you get to where you wanted to be in life a lot sooner, and I don't even think you're there yet. And I'm upset about it. Yes, I'm mad about it. Yes, I am heartbroken because I feel that I could have helped you go through a lot of the struggles that you've gone through. You've gone through so many struggles that weren't necessary, that weren't worth your time. But if you had looked at me sooner, if you had healed me sooner, if you had validated and made me feel seen and heard and valued just for even once, that could have made a huge difference on how many years it took you to be where you are today. And not only that, feel different with where you are today. Because I'm seeing that you're not even that happy. You might feel like you're happy, but it's at a level that a lot of people feel happy in. And when I say a lot, I mean like most of the population, like they're like, yeah, I'm happy, but it could always be better. That's the feeling. And you pushed me back in your head for so long that I never got to grow. I never got to bloom. I never even got to see what's in the light because you shunned me in the dark for so long. You were too afraid to even look in the dark, and look what happened. You feel too normal. You feel super unseen, but you just pretend that you're fine. You pretend that this is you, this is who you are, when in reality, we both know that's not true. You're not happy with where you're at. You're afraid to leave, but you are not happy. And I don't think you're gonna leave anytime soon because you're too afraid to. I could have helped you do so much more with your life. I could have helped you heal. I could have helped you see the value that you actually can bring to the world. And you just hold so much stubbornness in you. There's some sort of anger, like you're disappointed in who I once was or who we once were. You're disappointed in that past. And because of that, you make me feel like you're disappointed in me. But that's not fair to me. I'm so hurt because you were the one person I wanted to see me. You were the one person that I depended on to give me love when I needed it, to value me when I needed it, to validate my feelings when I needed it. But all you did was just say, yeah, you're right, to somebody else that you thought knew you better than you knew yourself, and push me away. You know yourself better than you know yourself. I feel like I don't need to tell you this, but for some reason I guess I'm doing it now because you are too afraid to do that for you. And here's the funny thing. I bet you that you have met so many people in your life already to this day that have tried to give you some nice advice, enlightening advice when it comes to the wisdom that you hold, but you didn't want to listen. Or maybe it kind of rung within you for a certain amount of time and then it just kind of dropped again and again. But here's the thing. Listen, I hold everything in terms of answers that you've been seeking. The key is in your hands. The key is in your hands. And it's through looking at me. It's through being honest with yourself and saying, hey, nobody really valued me back then. And I need to start owning up to that and accepting that, acknowledging that, releasing the rose-tinted glasses that maybe you have over your past. Or you need to stop living in la la land and release this energy of like, I don't remember what happened to me, because you do. We both know you do. So why can't you just admit that to yourself, that this wasn't fair and that we were hurt, very, very hurt? Why are you still letting that energy or that person in your life? Why are you still allowing this thing to tell you what you are and what you're not? Yeah, sure, you make some good money in life. Yeah, sure, that everything's kind of decent. But you know you deserve better. You have great ideas and like you always just turn them down or push them away because you doubt yourself just so ridiculously much because you keep thinking that you don't have what it takes or something like that. But look, I'm the one that could have helped you build yourself back up. If you just looked at me, if you just validated my experience, I could have loved you. I could have helped you rise. And listen, I can still do that for you, but it's only when you start moving into the darkness. Hold my hand for once. Hold my cold frickin' hand and help me walk into the light and feel what it's like to feel warmth on my skin for first time. I deserve the love that you've been giving to everyone else around you. I deserve it. Where were you when I needed you? All the nightmares or all those weird thoughts, those intrusive thoughts that you got every once in a while, where do you think they were coming from? They were coming from me. I've been trying to get you to look at me for such a long time, and you just kept treading and moving forward and forward and forward, more far away from me than you've ever been. And I miss you. Come back to yourself. See me. I can make your life, or the process at which you're moving through life, so much easier because I'll make sure that you embody your truth every step of the way and feel so empowered in yourself because I can give you that inner strength. That strength that you've been lacking, the resilience you've been lacking to continue moving forward in the destination or in the path down towards your goals and your own inner dreams. I can help you do that. But it's only if you look at me and you look at me hard and you look at me good and you show me that you actually love me as much as I loved you. Because I'm so heartbroken. Where were you? Okay, pile number one. I think you get the gist of what your shadow self is trying to tell you. And adding in my own words here for what I'm seeing, pile number one. You've been moving through life at a pace that has been progressive, yet very slow. And also, there's a disappointment here. I don't know if you're just not proud of where you are. Like, it just feels like it's not enough for you. But it's not like in a greedy or unhealthy way where you feel like it's not enough. It's just like you know that there's more for you, or there's more to life, and there's more in store for you in life, but it feels like you're not sure how to really get to unlock the things that are still you haven't got, like the unfulfilled potential. You have trouble trying to gain it, to harness it, to reach that full threshold in life that you want. And that's what your shadow self is holding for you. Like, your shadow self is the literal key to help you get through this weird part in life easier and have enough courage and strength to overcome the things that you've been feeling like you've been wanting to do for a while, but you're kind of hesitant and you're being more passive or submissive about it right now because you think that's just the easier route, but you know that that's not really how you feel. It's interesting. I can tell you're a naturally very smart person, very wise, very intellectual. You like to be in your head a lot, but it's weird. You be in your head, but you don't really, like, you're smart, but it's like you're book smart, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel as if the moment you start asking too many questions to yourself about yourself, you stop there and then you move forward in life and start focusing on the other things outside of you, because it might be a little bit too hard to grasp, like to get it's triggering or something. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm like, you get too close inside yourself and you're like, no, like, let's stop there and move forward. And then let's pretend like I didn't do this and then I'll never do it again. And then maybe a couple of years later, it happens again. You try and then it's like, oh, nope, triggered, let's go. And you've been on this weird pattern with it and you've just been living your life mundanely. And you deserve better, or you, not even you deserve better. I keep saying the same thing. But it's more like there's something hidden inside you that's gonna help you get to the, like, it's gonna help you kind of get a jump start, or like what's the word, like quantum leap literally into the reality that you desire for yourself. Like, you're gonna be able to see things in a perspective that's gonna be very more emphasized and more beautiful. Like, the colors in life are gonna be more saturated and things are gonna look more gorgeous than they actually are. You're gonna have more gratitude in your heart, but it's like hard to feel those things. Like, feeling is hard for you, pile number one. But it's only when you start letting yourself be honest about what's happened. Like, for something about being honest with yourself about it. Like, you've been kind of not wanting to admit it to yourself. You had blindfolds on. Like, you're acting like you had blindfolds on during the whole childhood, or during your whole upbringing, or during this whole trauma that your shadow self has been trying to make you see. And that's not true. You know that's not true. And you know that there's more things that lie beneath the surface of this event or this circumstance that you went through. And your shadow self is wanting you to look at it so you can harness the power that it holds. So you can harness that power and live life, the life that you're living, through a lens that's makes life feel 10,000 times more fulfilling than it actually does right now. Like, it feels like your energy's kind of monetized. It's like a monotone energy, but it can be enhanced. And it's because your shadow self holds the key to it. That's why you haven't been able to figure it out on your own. And it's about a specific event, something specific. It's not multiple different events. It's a specific thing that happened to you. And it was one that's like emphasized it. I don't know if you've been going through, or you've had patterns that you went through in your life for years that felt like it was repetitive patterns, like repetitive cycles, like things that you're stuck and you don't know how to get out of, that have a theme, their underlying theme, all tied back to this one specific event or circumstance or experience that you went through in your life that your shadow self has experienced as well. Whatever it may be, pile number one, that is a thing you got to look at to help you get to that epiphany, get to that thing that, I don't know, like, there's an inner wisdom that you hold that your shadow self has the key for, that, and only once you look at it for what it really was, for what the experience truly was for you, will you be able to harness it and use it in the reality of your making, or in this real world. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this is a good spot to stop the reading, because your shadow self is very straight to the point. I can tell, like, they don't want me to I usually keep going and talking, and I get really in depth, but they just kind of want me to leave the message very straightforward and to the point, because they want you to ask them more questions on your own. I feel like they don't even want me to speak for them to you. They said everything they wanted to say through that channeled part, but it's like they don't want me to keep going. If they're saying to me, like, if you guys, pile number one, if you really wanted to speak to them, you would be asking them questions on your own and not asking a reading for that, because it's not fair to them. They're really upset. They want you to value them. And I think that's why there's a bittersweetness here, because the bittersweet card with the balance, it's like, and recovery, there's a lot of blues, a lot of, and here too, I'm noticing, like, the blues here, the purples, they're all in these cards. It's, here too. It's like I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of melancholy-like energy in this reading in particular, pile number one. And definitely take a moment to breathe through it. I know this reading was probably really intense. It would have been intense for me if I was you listening to it. But it's like, you gotta take the veil off. You try to keep yourself too busy to not see what's really going on inside you, and you deserve better. They deserve better. You guys both deserve better. The light and the dark must come together to form a yin and yang, so you can feel like your real true self, so you can feel like a wholesomeness within you. And if you've been lacking that in your life, it's because you've been denying the darker side of you for too long. Pile number one. So I really hope that this reading resonated with you. I send you so much unconditional love. Definitely, if you want to know more about a shadow self and how you can talk to your shadow self, how you can interact with it, Stay tuned. You can subscribe. I definitely do plan on uploading a video on that eventually. But my YouTube channel is all about helping you heal, helping you step into your power using astrology, chakra healing, using neuroscience, using every single thing that you can think of, I dive into in my YouTube channel, all right? So again, with that being said, sending you so much unconditional love, pile number 1. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Hi, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. If this is the card that you use to choose your pile, the beautiful shungite crystal, then this is definitely your reading for exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now. So I actually didn't end up explaining this properly to pile number 1, so I'm going to explain it to you now. I know the ash from the Palo Santo in my hands, but so the way that I do this reading, once I get all the tarot cards out, I kind of allow your shadow self to speak through me to you in first person. So I will be speaking as if I am your shadow self, telling you what they want to tell you right now, all right? With that being said, though, please keep in mind that these readings can be very deep, very personal, and very insightful. And because they might be very insightful, they might be very triggering, very uncomfortable to hear. But again, this is the divine guidance in a way where I come through to help you hear what your shadow self wants to tell you right now. That way you can get your healing journey started in the right way, in the quickest way possible for everyone's well-being. And when I mean that, for humanity's own well-being, for the highest good of all, basically. With that being said, though, let's dive into this. So the way I love to do this, I usually use the tarot cards at the very end once we get all your oracle cards out and we get to look at them first. So that is exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to start with your card that you used to pick out your pile in the first place, the beautiful shungite crystal, all right? And as you can see, we actually have multiple other crystals as well as the multiple other oracle cards too. All right, so with that being said, let's get into this. So we have shungite, and we turn it over. We get a little bit of a description on what it is, but who needs it? Anybody looking to get honest with themselves and when to use it. When it's time to reclaim your energy from wherever it's been and whomever it's been with. Get real with your truth, all right? Interesting. So let's put that over here. Next up, we have the beautiful vanadinite. All right. It is for those lacking self-discipline, and use it when it's time to live in the moment, when you are in the prime audience for a motivational speech, whether it's hard work, making art, or just a blissed out moment. Free from the mind's ongoing commentary, and energizing meditation with vanadinite can help knock down whatever stands between you and your happy place. Break through your big blocks. Okay, interesting. I'm going to put this right here. Next up, lastly but not least, with the crystals, we have muscovite. And who needs it? The pragmatic, empirical, and reasonable. Anyone who has ever asked themselves, how did I not see that coming? And when to use it? When I want to believe is your MO. When you feel like you've been missing the signs. When you have a problem logic won't solve. When you've blown the lid off with too much meditation, microdosing, or moldavite and need to get a good grip. Develop your foresight. So maybe something has been feeling blurry in your life and we got to get some more insight. I feel like this might have something to do with your passion, like you're confused on where to go in life moving forward, and something about your shadow self wanting to tell you how to uncover that for yourself right now. So really, really quick before we move into the rest of the oracle cards, we're just going to look at all of the little keywords here, or the statements with all the crystal cards. So we have get real with your truth, develop your foresight, get real with your truth, develop your foresight, and break through your big blocks. Develop your foresight, break through your big blocks, and get real with your truth. Interesting. All right. Next up with the oracle cards, we have with the chakra card with sacral chakra, perseverance. All right, already understanding where this is going. And I'll keep the thoughts to myself for now. We have with the throat chakra, expansion. With an astro card, we have the second house, owning. We have workaholic with the throat chakra. We have Saturn return with age. So some of you guys might be actually going through your Saturn return. That's specific. Saturn return typically takes around 27 years to do a full... Saturn takes a full around approximately 27 years to do a full circle around the sun. So just keeping that in mind, you know, depending on how old you are when you're watching this video. We have the root chakra with perfection. Okay, this is really interesting to me. Why? Because we got workaholic, perseverance, expansion, and perfection. So are you being overly perfectionist because you think that you're not good enough and you want things to be just right, but because of that, it's also being the very blockage that's keeping you from being able to keep going forward in your dreams and your personal endeavors and your goals as a whole? Something to do with your shadow self. Interesting. Not good enough. I keep hearing not good enough, not good enough. Okay, let's keep going though. Let's keep going. With the Sacred Rebel, one of the cards that feel called to come out, we have big, bold vision. All right, yes, this is about a big dream, something that is huge, something that you want for yourself, but you're struggling to attain. Let's continue. Last chakra, victim. Yes, heart chakra, victim. We have the word wants to be written. Okay, this is beautiful imagery. Why? Well, first of all, there is definitely an emotional release that needs to happen right now in your life. You're being called by your shadow self, like you need to do some releasing, a lot of it. Something very intense that wants to come up. I don't know if you've already gone through a spiritual awakening. This reading might actually be the gateway that's going to open up your spiritual awakening journey for yourself. But it feels like right now what I'm hearing a child message coming through is this is going to be the very start, the beginning of the most intense part of your healing. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what came through though, so I'm going to just keep it that way. And last but not least, for your oracle cards, we have Yod, Destiny. Yes, that is why I got it. That makes sense now. Because, ooh, I spilled water on this. Sorry. Okay. This actually makes so much sense, pile number 2. Why? Because I just got that channel message saying that this reading might mark the beginning of the most intense part of your healing journey. Well, it says destiny. This is about your foreseeing the future. And what is these crystals about? Helping you strengthen your foresight to be able to see into the future, to be able to prepare for these things. This might be your shadow self trying to prepare you for something. Prepare you for the next step in your evolution as a human and your self-development journey as a whole. I feel like there is something here that is definitely going to come through. And not only with Saturn return, but it's like, this is something that's been prepared for you for a while. I don't know. I'm also hearing that this isn't the first time you've spoken to your shadow self. I don't know if this is like the third or the fourth or the second. It feels as if this isn't the first time you've spoken to this shadow self in particular or gained messages from them in particular. It feels as if this is a shadow self that you've been working with to help you go through this stage in your life. That's the very specific thing coming through. It also feels as if there's this energy of you've already might have befriended this side of you. However, you're having trouble learning how to apply it into your life. The thing that the shadow self holds, the shadow self, to be particular, you're learning how to use it to your advantage to be able to kind of level up or ascend in your own spiritual development journey. And maybe that's been a struggle. Maybe that's been something you've been dealing with that's been hard. Maybe every time you feel like you're getting somewhere, you go back to this old self-sabotaging behavior pattern, like victim mentality. I just think about fear. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards, because this one is like, this one's an interesting one, to be honest here. Pile number 1's reading was a little bit different, very different actually compared to yours, pile number 2. I'm very intrigued to see where this is going to take us. So let's definitely get your tarot cards out. I feel like this is the right time to get them out and basically see exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now. So what does pile number 2, shadow self, want to tell them right now? All right, pile number 2, you guys got a good amount of tarot cards here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This feels like the significator card. You have the movement of swords. All right, we're gonna place the significator card right here. Okay, this actually makes a lot of sense, pile number 2, because what I'm seeing here is, I've been doing this with pile number 1 as well, but this makes so much sense. I'm seeing the imagery of this panther, or this jaguar. I feel like it might be a black jaguar. There's this energy where this is the depiction of the spirit animal or the energy of your shadow self right now. So if this resonates with you, I feel like it definitely resonates with me, at least from what I'm picking up on energetically with their presence in the reading in itself. In the movement of swords, by the way, keep that in mind, that is the Knight of Swords. There's a lot of like intensity in this card, the way it's being depicted. And there's also a lot of intricacy and delicacy here. Like it's a delicate, it looks like very, I don't even know how to, there's a complexity to your shadow self, but it's so delicate because it's so complex and intricate in its way of doing things that it's very beautiful. It's kind of seductive in a way, like a seductive energy to it, sensual energy to it. It actually resonates a lot with like sacral chakra energy too. But I'm going to keep that in mind moving forward. So let's definitely place your significator card here. And then let's get the rest of your cards out. So we got 1, 2, 3. This one wants to come out first. First card, we have the 4 of Swords. Oh, wow. This is funny how this is also a black feline. We have the 4 of Wands. Okay, 2 4s. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right. We have Temperance. Something about you need to balance these two energies together. Interesting. Okay. Next up, you have the Innocence of Cups, which is what's known as the Page of Cups. We have the Spirit of Swords, which is also what's known as the King of Swords. Again, the imagery. Ooh! We have the Innocence of Pentacles, which is what's known as the Page of Pentacles. The Star card. Again, for some reason, this Star card reminds me of the Yacht and Destiny card. I don't know why. We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so we got 2 10s back to back and 2 4s back to back. We have the Death card. Yes, okay, this is making so much sense now. Pile number 2, this reading is really deep. We have the Spirit of Cups, which is also what's known as the King of Cups. Yeah, it's about feeling through it. Okay. The Heart of Pentacles, which is also what's known as the Queen of Pentacles. The Moon card. The Five of Cups. Okay. We have the Two of Wands. The Ace of Wands. The Universe. Okay, you're definitely being called to do something, pile number 2, by your shadow self right now. Okay, last but not least, we do have 2 more cards, but I feel like this is the ultimate, like, end for you, so I'm gonna leave them to the side. I don't know why this feels like an ultimate message, like an overall thing, so I'm gonna leave them to the side for now, and we're gonna explore these 2 cards after we dive into everything here, all right? So, with that being said, pile number 2, you have a lot of energy here, let's be honest. I don't really have a specific way to lay out cards. I allow my intuition and channel messages to guide me when it comes to how I lay my cards out on the table. And for you, pile number 2, this is exactly how your cards felt called to be laid out. So, with that being said, keeping in mind, moving forward, I am going to be channeling through to see exactly what your shadow self wants to tell you right now by allowing your shadow self to speak through to me. So I will be speaking in first person as if I am your shadow self speaking directly to you at this moment, all right? So moving forward, this is how we're going to do this. There's 3 separate things they want to tell you. Pile number 2. I'm speaking to you because I need to tell you something. Yes, life has been like feeling like you've been going through hell and back excessively, constantly for probably a decade or 2 at a time. However, look, we made a lot of progress together, you and me. And I know that maybe it might feel like you're drowning and what I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis often. However, you know that this is benefiting you to help you keep pushing forward, but are you pushing forward to prove yourself to others right now? Or are you pushing forward at this point because you know that you deserve the end goal for you and you only? Like, are you making sure that you are doing all of the stuff you're doing right now for yourself and not for everyone else around you or like specific people that may have doubted you in the past or something like that? Because everything that you've been making or doing has been enough, but it's not enough in your own eyes, or maybe it's not enough in those people's eyes that wronged you or doubted you in the past. But who cares? I know that you have what it takes. I know that you can do this. I know that you are capable of a lot more than you think. And yeah, we were loners. Yeah, we felt like, who cares about trying to make friends because no one is ever going to get us in the way that we try to get others, and maybe it's just pointless in getting to know others. And I'm just seeing like you need to start letting yourself, though, accept the inevitable fact that yes, this happened to us, but it doesn't mean that this is the only thing that defines us in full. Like, yeah, we went through this, but does it mean that this is what defines us? No. You only get to determine that. Like, you're the one that has the power to decide if this experience is the only thing that's going to define who you are. And I think that you are too stuck in your head about what is perfect versus what's not, that you're living in this like endless cycle of, is it good enough or is it not good enough? Well, okay, it's not meeting my expectations, but there's no such thing. It's just the limits that we put on things. And you, my beautiful friend, are doing just enough. But in order to show that to yourself, you also got to be a rebel, and you got to be willing to stand to the things that are important to you in life and the things that you value in life too. Like, you need to stand to your core values. Staying true to yourself, though. I feel like you are always preaching that to everyone else around you, but when are you going to do it for yourself? Because yeah, you are doing things. Yeah, you're trying. Yeah, you're working hard, but are you really doing everything in the way that you know is aligned exactly to your authenticity, to your full truth? Because I don't know if you had to like remold yourself time and time again for other people around you so that you can fit into their standard, their way of living, their way of being a human and interacting as a human in life. But that's not you anymore. Like, you don't need to keep trying to fit in this mold, because you were never meant to fit in it in the first place. I don't know why all these people thought you had to be a certain way, but that wasn't fair to you, or that wasn't true to you. That just didn't, it's not how you want to roll. Like, you're meant to shine and be different, and it taken you almost half a decade to a near decade for you to realize that. And it was through working with me, your shadow, that helped you find like a little bit of a friend inside of yourself during those times where it felt so lonely, because you also felt like no one really understood you, saw you for who you really are, because of this image you were trying to portray yourself as for such a long time. Like, I'm even seeing as if maybe all those love interests, like, they didn't even love you for you. They loved the thing that you were pretending to be. You felt so not acknowledged so hard in the back then, that like you worked so hard to being not who you are for such a long amount of time, that maybe it's even hard to return home to yourself, because you're just trying so hard to portray a certain thing that we both know is not you. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. And I think that because you're trying so hard, you are like not able to fully embody a life aligned with love for us together. It's tiring. Like, we are so tired, and I know I'm tired for you. You deserve bigger and better things, but the only way you can get there is if you release your true potential and your true power. But the way you release your true power is you got to be willing to accept the reality that maybe there's going to be people in your life that just aren't going to accept you the way you really are, because we're always going to have haters. And you're so cutthroat, you're so logical now. There's a part of you, like an emotional, huge part of you, that love to flow and feel, and you shun that part so hard down inside you. Like, you push it down so hard that it's hard to cry. I don't even know when the last time you cried was. Like a healthy, good cry, or a healthy, good scream. It was either like remembering the last time you cried, or not remembering the last time you got mad and blew up. You repress so much intense emotions, but you don't really let yourself, like, you never turn into the volcano. Like, I'm not seeing a volcano. I'm seeing it just dissipates. Like, it just goes away. How are you able to just, it's kind of scary. There's a powerful intimidation factor here that allows, like, you have this ability to push down your feelings so hard, because I think you got so good at it in your life, like growing up, like you got so good at learning how to control that part of you, that you just never let it come out anymore. But because you shun it, you're also repressing so much creativity. You're also repressing so much of this beauty that comes along with it as well. Because remember, with fear comes love, and with love comes fear, and with good comes bad, and with bad comes good. There needs to be an existing of two, like, polar things, two polar rising forces, to find harmony within that. And so when you repress the emotions, you're also repressing the things that come with the emotions, that maybe help you in certain areas of your life that maybe you're struggling in, where you're maybe lacking to find true motivation for things, or true passion. Something to do with, like, you're living in survival mode, and you're not letting yourself feel what it's like to truly live because of this. And I'm actually seeing that whether or not you want to embrace this fact, or what's being said right now in this reading, pile number 2, your shadow self is telling you that it's going to come whether you want it to or not. Like, I feel like this was more of like a warning message coming through for you from your shadow self, where there's trying to tell you that whether you want to or not, like whether you want to accept this or not, we're going to make sure that you embrace it. And this new cycle that you're about to embark on in your life, this new chapter, is either going to give you a really hard time because you're going to be too stubborn to want to see it until you finally do. Like, you might break and it's going to be really intense. Or if you're willing to let yourself see it willingly now, this new chapter in your life can be a lot less harsh on you. And what I mean by harsh, I mean like repercussions, like the repercussions of like your karma, like the repercussions of not seeing it in your past or recently is going to hit you hard in this next chapter because you need to see it eventually. Sooner or later, like in life, you are meant to see this part of healing, this part of truth within you that you have been repressing for so long, because emotions are there for a reason. There's a part of our brain that makes us feel things for a reason. We can't just keep shutting it down and hoping that it goes away. Eventually it's going to come back, but it might bite us in the ass really bad if we avoid it. And I do see this might happen to you in this new chapter that you're going to go on in your life if you do not look at it anymore. So what your shadow self is trying to tell you right now is like, yo, you gotta feel. Like, you gotta let yourself feel it all. And stop pretending like you're a robot. Stop pretending that you're emotionless, because that doesn't work in life. As humans, we are meant to feel feelings. And so your shadow self really is trying to emphasize that for you, pile number 2, because there's something that needs to be released emotionally. Like, there's a big emotional release that's going on that needs to come out. See the tears, the mascara stains. It's very intense, and it's gonna help you be able to transform and kind of level up for this new chapter to give you what you're seeking in life. But you can also, if you choose not to do this, like at all, this chapter in your life is going to give you a lot of upheaval that maybe you've already experienced in the last decade of your life, because it's trying to make you see something, but the longer you don't see it, the more BS and mud you have to try to walk through, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And your shadow self is like, dude, like, you need to just come to terms with the fact that this is suffering inside you and you need to see it. I'm also hearing that you don't know how to sit still, or something about like being quiet with yourself. Maybe you like to watch TV while you eat. Maybe you don't like to eat mindfully. Maybe it's hard to be mindful because things are always just going on, going. I don't know if you live in the city, something where it's busy. There's just like a lot of busy, hectic energy here. And you're suffering so bad though. It's like you have functional depression. I'm not a doctor, so, don't take that literally, but it feels as if somebody who is suffering like in that depressive state, but they are able to function through it and put on a mask. And the perfectionism is where they're suffering, and that's where the depression lies. And it's like you use a lot of things to keep your fingers, your hands, mind busy to not come to terms with actually what you're feeling on the inside. And your shadow self is like, dude, you need to slow down. Like, you need to let yourself feel this, or else we're gonna make you feel it. And karma might bite you in the butt. And I'm just telling you, like, as a warning, usually when karma's in the picture, pile number 2, you should probably listen to it. But again, this is your reading. I want you guys to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But this is what's going to help you get a nice flow, a motivational energy, something that's going to help you get to, like, a kickstart in life that'll help you push yourself to getting what you want. And I do feel called to pull these 2 cards out finally, because I feel like they're going to come with temperance in the center here for some reason. So let us see what the final 2 cards are for you. Pile number 2, we have the 6 of Wands. Yes, this makes so much sense now, and I'll tell you right now in a moment. And you have the Heart of Swords, which is the Queen of Swords in this deck. Yes, this makes sense now. It's balancing the scales, pile number 2. Once you allow yourself to see this, you're going to help karma lean in your favor to balance the scales once again, to help you realign yourself or shift your trajectory in life that you're going down, the path you're going down, to help you get to where you want to be ultimately in life. Because it feels like you were on your way and then something happened, or it's been taking a lot longer or something like that. Like, there's something about you did the necessary things you had to do in your past to get to where you are now. Like, you shutting down your emotions, tuning out those feelings, those were necessary things that had to happen in your past for you to survive those moments. But now you don't need that anymore. Pile number 2. Like, it feels as if you're still kind of living in your past, or you're still kind of stuck in this survival mentality way of living that has nothing to do with the reality that you're in now. And so it's kind of making you see life or talk to people through a filter a filter of wounds, and maybe you think everyone's out to get you, or you're like naturally very defensive, is what I'm seeing, pile number 2. Like someone who's very like sharp with their words. Like their words can slice through somebody if they really make them. Like it's like a hiss, like a intense thing. And it's threatening to people. So maybe it's been hard for you to get too close to people, or the people that are close to you is only 1 or 2 people. And I don't know why I'm hearing you might not be very close to your immediate family or very close to your siblings. I don't know. Something about like, there's this weird energy that keeps coming through where you just have a sharp tongue. You're very witty. You're very smart. You're very observant, but you're quiet, but you do a lot. It's weird. Like it's kind of contradicting these two things. You don't open up. You're very contained. And you don't even open up to your own self. But that's where the problem lies. And that's what's keeping you from being able to embody the success, embody the victory that you're meant to feel and harness in this lifetime. And this new chapter can either be your number 1 best friend, your number 1 biggest fan when it comes to owning this success, or go through what you've been going through in the last half or full decade is what I'm hearing specifically. Pile number 2, all over again. Like you might have to re-experience all these karmic patterns and stuff until you realize this for yourself, and still you start owning up and embracing your emotions that they have, what the emotions have to show you. Because each emotion is trying to tell you something. Pile number 2, it's not that you just have a feeling and like, oh, they're negative, oh, everything's negative, feelings are ew, so I gotta just avoid them at all costs or else I won't get to where I want. No, pile number 2, that's the wrong way to see it. And I think that maybe you were taught that growing up, or you were seeing that, you were never taught how to feel or process emotions, but there's a big lack of emotional regulation. You might have trouble regulating yourself. And this is what you're being really called to do or learn how to do in this part of your life, at this time in your life, pile number 2, because I am seeing that that's really going to help you be able to really take your goals, your personal daydreams more seriously and really bring them to your reality. But it's only when you come back to yourself, it's only when you find a home inside yourself, you'll be able to do that. And your shadow self's been trying to make you find that home inside yourself for a very long time now. But every time the call happens and it's time for you to step up, it gets a little like you're too sharp-tongued. Like you kind of immediately close the door before even taking a peek through to see what it has to offer you, like healing-wise. Like it's too difficult. But it's not. You have the ability to do this. So that is really all I'm seeing here for you, pile number 2. It's just a big, like, they just want you to look and look inside. Like, turn your eyes inwards instead of always looking outwards for the answers. You are very hesitant. I even feel like some of you guys might be listening to this but aren't even going to apply this because it's too hard to admit it to yourself, so I will call you out if those are going to be some of the people listening to this right now. Like, I'm calling you out, pile number 2, because you guys really got to do this. I do feel like you're going to get bit in the butt if you don't. That's just the biggest warning I am seeing here. But I send you so much unconditional love. I do feel that this is a good way to end the reading, because I know it might feel like you have more questions now than answers, but it's because this is where you're being encouraged to do the exploration for yourself on your own. Because with the words want to be written, that statement right here, I feel like that's your shadow self asking you to do some journaling, asking you to do some introspecting with yourself. I don't know if you naturally already journal. Definitely, if you don't, I would encourage you to try to write a letter to yourself and see what comes up from this time in your life where you felt like the victim, where you felt like you weren't valued or seen. Because I feel like you've been kind of living life, but you weren't living through life on your own terms. You weren't living life, like you felt like you never had control, so you put an illusion over your head to make you feel like you did. I don't know, that's what I'm seeing. But with that being said, I send you so much unconditional love. Definitely give me a thumbs up if this resonated with you. And definitely subscribe if you do feel called to explore more about your inner healing journey and how you can step into your power and become the best version of yourself, as my channel is all about helping you become the best version of yourself, heal yourself from the inside out through neuroscience, chakra healing, astrology, and so much more. I send you so much unconditional love, pile number 2. Bye. Hi, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. If you've chosen the beautiful Howlite as your card to help you choose this pile out, then this reading is for you, and this is exactly what your shadow self wants you to know or tell you right now. The way that I do this reading, I had to explain to the other piles. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking in first person as if, especially once we get all the tarot cards out, I'm going to be talking as if I'm going to be channeling messages through your, from your shadow self to you so they can speak directly to you through me. So make sure that you keep that in mind moving forward. And not only that, but we're going to be diving into your oracle cards first before we actually get the tarot cards into play. So we're going to actually start up with the very first card that you use to pick out your pile in the first place. And as you can see, we have multiple different cards to look through. But we're going to be starting up with your very first one, which is Howl Light. Howl Light right here. And then Who Needs It? Overstimulated minimalists living in a maximalist world. And When to Use It. When you need a break from the never-ending onslaught of DMs, meeting requests, and trending stories. Less is more, none is most. Howl Light can help. Organize your headspace. Okay, interesting thought that's coming through already. So we're going to place that card over here. And then next card, we have Magnesite with Who Needs It? Intellectuals, Aquarians, where to put it, wherever you go to quiet the mind, and when to use it. When you're just too smart for your own good, when you're completely lost in your thoughts, or they're running wild, dragging you behind them. There is a pattern here if you guys haven't noticed. Remember, the mind is a powerful thing. You rule it or it rules you. Meditate every day and show it who's boss with Magnesite. Get your mind right. Okay, this is intriguing me already. Why? Because we already have 2 crystal cards coming out that messages are about get your mind right and organize your headspace. So that is interesting me. I'm going to place these 2 cards next to each other. And last but not least, for the crystal cards, you have Carnelian. I love this card. And let's see, Who Needs It? The Understimulated. Anybody looking to get acquainted with their fears. Hello, fear. My name is your name. We have some beautiful work to do together. Now, STFU, and let's do this. And When to Use It? When you find your creativity or sex drive on sleep mode, and go with your gut. Okay, this is already fascinating me. Why? Because I feel like I know what your shadow self is going to try to tell you, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut and continue looking through the oracle cards before I have anything to say, just because I want to see how this all matches up, but I already am getting an idea here. Let's continue and see if the idea that I have in my mind matches up with the cards. For the first chakra card, you have Grief with the heart chakra. Next up, you have with Third Eye, Despondence. Next up, with Third Eye, you have Forgiveness. And with an Astro card, you have beautiful Solar Eclipse Revolution. This is a beautiful card. Wow. And with a Sacred Rebel card, we have Bring It Into Form. Bring it into form. Beautiful. Next up, Diving for Light. We have repeating numbers everywhere. So we got 4, 4, and 1, 1 already. And then we got 41. So this is actually, okay. Last 2 cards you have Capricorn I use. Oh, again, 2, 2. So you're getting 4, 4, 1, 1, and 2, 2. Are you a headstrong person? Do you have trouble listening to people around you? I feel like maybe you have trouble connecting to other people on an emotional level, but let us continue. And last but not least, for your oracle cards, we have Water Element. Sensing. Yes. Okay, this makes sense now. Why? Because this is about emotions, and I just said that there was a lot of headiness going on with the logic. This is interesting. Okay. Before we get into your tarot cards, pile number 3. What I am seeing here is somebody who, at least from what I'm seeing in the imagery and what I'm channeling energetically, somebody who's never dealt with a pain. This isn't the first time you felt this pain, but every other time you felt it, you just say, oh, okay, and then deal with it the same way you've been dealing with it your whole life. And it's not a healthy way to deal with it. And because this is the unhealthy way, this is the way that you've been dealing with it, I see like it has been affecting your ability to emotionally connect with others in a way that will benefit you in your life. as a whole. And because you're having this trouble being able to see it all for what it really is, and what I mean by seeing it all for what it really is, seeing other people's feelings. Like, I don't know if you have anyone close to you in your life right now. I'm seeing specifically as if it could be you're not able to understand them in the way that they want to feel understood because you're not trying. Like, you try, but you're not letting yourself try going the full mile for it. Like, you try too hard mentally. Like, you're being too logical for this person. And in order to understand someone's feelings, you need to go into your feelings to get there and feel it out, to get it, like to immerse yourself in that type of energy. And you, pile number 3, suck at that because you have been avoiding your feelings. You don't like it. It makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to. I don't know if you're a go-getter in life, or somebody who is a very hard worker, someone who stops at nothing until they get what they want, but there needs to be more softness, at least from what your shadow self is showing here in these cards. There was softness. I think this shadow self version of you is the softness that you're lacking in your life, actually. So with that being said, let us take a look and see what your tarot cards have to say to put everything together, because your reading is really intriguing to me. It feels like you dropped this aspect of you, this softness, this fluid part of you, very yin-like energy, because you got hurt too many times embodying that energy, or you've been in a lot of struggle, turmoil, and pain in that form. And so you kind of just threw it out the window entirely without really taking a nice look at it. So you probably might have thrown out parts or qualities of this softness that benefited you without even realizing it, because you thought that throwing out the whole thing was actually going to be the whole thing that would fix this situation. And in reality, maybe it fixed things for you to be able to work hard. Because I am seeing everything happens for a reason. You had to do this to survive and go through life in the way that you went through in your past. But now it's you're trying to do a full 360 in life, and you're missing, I don't know why, this feels like there's something to do with love life, or you're missing this ability to maintain good, strong, standing social connections with people. But when I say social connections, I'm talking about more emotional, intimate connections. It's hard for you to be vulnerable, and it's hard for you to feel other people's vulnerability. Maybe they're afraid to open up to you, and that frustrates you because they don't feel safe enough with you, or it could be the other way around. There's something to do with a lack of letting yourself be open, and because of that, it's making the people that are close to you have trouble being open to you too, because you guys are a mirror for each other. Let's definitely look into your tarot cards though and see what your shadow self wants to tell you right now, pile number 3, and then we're going to get a better look at everything that's going on. So what does pile number 3's shadow self want to tell them right now? You actually got 2 significator cards I feel called to have for you. So let us see what your significator cards are for the revolving energies, the overall energies. You have the 7 of Wands. This makes sense. You're frustrated. Yeah. Okay. Gonna place that right here. And then last, you have the Moon. Wow. Every single reading I've done so far, pile number 3, the Moon has been coming up like crazy. So this makes, it makes me happy to see the Moon though. Why? Because that's your subconscious. That means your shadow self is really here trying to talk to you right now. Not only that, but this is an important message given the fact that the Moon is part of your significator cards. So this is something that is deep, and this is something that you don't like to let come to light. This is a part of you. This actually makes sense. Why? Because we have the solar eclipse here. So it's the sun is being covered. You're not letting yourself see the truth. You're not letting yourself feel, pile number 3. You don't like to feel love. I don't know if it's hard for you. You're afraid to get too close to people. There's something here where you are frustrated though, because you feel like you're trying really hard. I don't know if you're in a relationship or you're trying to, or maybe you're single right now. There's just a lot of struggle with finding a nice balance between how vulnerable do I really have to be? Like, I'm just seeing you get frustrated with that. But let us continue. So to start up, you have the Three of Wands. And again, this emphasis, do you see this? There's an emphasis on the sun. And I'm like looking at the light here too. It's really cool, actually. Pile number 3. Next up. Ooh. We have the Five of Wands. Again, there's like a fire. Look at this, guys. The imagery here is insane in this reading. Five of Wands. And the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Movement of Cups, which is also known as the Knight of Cups. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, yes. Actually, I don't know why. Again, this is going to be something I'm actually going to place along with the solar eclipse revolution. I don't know why. It just feels like you accomplished everything you needed to get accomplished, but now it's like, where's the love in your life? Like, you're lacking in the emotional factor of your life. Everything else you were able to do, but now it's like, I don't know. That's something coming through very specific, okay? It may resonate with some of you, but it may not resonate with all. So cherry pick what resonates, leave what doesn't. Moving forward, we have the High Priestess. Yeah, you know this. That's why you're frustrated, though. You don't know how to unlock it. You're like, something about frustration. Your shadow self wants to tell you, though. Four of Wands. The Innocence of Cups, which is also what's known as the Page of Cups. The Seven of Swords. We have a lot of sevens here, so if you've been seeing 777, as that was also part of your significator cards, keep that in mind. You have the Hermit. This is what I'm seeing, though, for you. Like, this is how you are, but this is how you need to be, because that's where the key lies. This makes a lot of sense now. But you don't want to. You're so stubborn. I'm seeing a lot of stubbornness here. Pile number 3. I want you to be able to see all your imagery, so I'm just going to place these cards up a little bit higher. Alright, we got 2 cards left. We have the Nine of Pentacles. And we have the Three of Pentacles. So I don't know if you've noticed, pile number 3, as I was putting the cards down, we have a lot of pentacle energy here, but it's mainly put in the centering area of your reading. Kind of as if this is something you've already, I don't know why I'm like seeing this is something you've accomplished already, but there's fulfillment here with the Nine of Pentacles. With the Nine of Pentacles, there's like some sense of like fulfillment. You accomplished all that you needed to do in that area of your life. And maybe you can accomplish more, but right now you're wanting an emotional connection or something. And what's kind of funny here, as I look closer at your cards, you only have the Movement of Cups and the Innocence of Cups here. There's no other cup energy, and that's how I know that there is a lack of emotional connection going on within you. And the fact that you have the water element sensing, that there's an emphasis on emotions here. And what your shadow self wants to tell you, there was a shunning that happened where you shut down the sensitive aspect of you. You are naturally very sensitive, pile number 3, but you never, ever, ever show it, nor will you ever admit it. Probably might even disagree with me as I say it. Because I just see somebody who's just so set in their ways that it's too hard for them to acknowledge the fact that there's even a possibility that they can have more feelings than they think they do. Because if, oh goodness gracious, if that happens, that feeling, allowing yourself to finally feel, might actually unlock a lot of pains that you have been pushing to the side of you for so long, just so you can focus on career or focus on your own personal endeavors. And now that you're being kind of faced with this challenge of a lack of being able to connect with people on an intimate way, or being vulnerable yourself, or not even knowing how to attract the right people in your life because you're sucking in this department, like, you are just terrified of what could happen if you allowed everything to really come to light. And when I mean come to light, I mean allowing that energy of the guard that you put up. What would happen if you broke it down? If you let it out? Because behind what you're guarding is the shadow self that's trying to talk to you. It feels as if this shadow side of you is a very sweet, big sweetheart. It doesn't even feel like, usually when we think about shadow selves, we think about someone who is very in pain, suffering, but there's also darker qualities to each shadow self that we encounter. And I don't know why though, this shadow self in particular is more, it has a different energy to it. Pile number 3 for you in particular. It feels as if this shadow self essence of you is very betrayed right now, is feeling very lost and helpless and kind of confused because they don't know what to do with all this stuff they're feeling. And it's because you basically taught yourself how to disconnect the logic from the emotions. You don't like to use them go hand in hand with each other, that maybe you might even suck at well, no, actually, I'm even seeing that you are naturally very intuitive, but you don't, it's weird, you use it, but when it's trying to tell you something that you know is for your own good, you don't listen to it. So I don't know if this is you're very smart and you're very analytical, pile number 3. You're very good at noticing things. When there's an issue, you can tell. It's like you have spidey senses basically. But then you don't do anything about it. And your shadow self is kind of calling you out right now, pile number 3, where they're saying look, I know that this stuff is really uncomfortable, and I know it might be uncomfortable when you see other people upset around you, but it doesn't mean that you have to pretend like nothing's going on, because that's exactly why you're not getting anywhere when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to forming connections, the ones that you actually truly want in your life. And I don't think you're ever going to admit it to yourself that you want love because you feel like it's a weakness. I don't know why there's this energy of you feel like this shadow self version of you is weak. That's not true. This is actually the strongest part of you that you can possibly embody. But it's only when you let yourself embody it and you learn how to work together with it to come together and get the light and get the dark and make something beautiful. Find that inner harmony within it. Both. You need both energies to make a whole. And that's why you feel like maybe all the material parts of your life are there's something about the physical and the tangible. That part is highlighted very much in your life right now, currently where you're at. But then emotions are nowhere to be found, basically. But you're being called to start listening to that. Pile number 3, I don't know why, random channel message coming through. I don't know if you have barely had any dreams for years, and then maybe just recently or a month or 2 ago, I'm hearing, this is very specific to some people, you had the craziest dream ever. Could have been just a dream or could have been a nightmare, something that was really intense that you remember to this day, and you haven't had a dream like that in a while, so it was very vivid, you're able to remember it. That dream is trying to tell you something, so you are being called to definitely do some research on it. Don't know why, that was just very random, and I'm just letting the messages come through, guys. But you have been literally, pile number 3, fighting with yourself day in and day out to not let the shadow self come out of the cage you put it in. Because I feel you have more of a dominant side of you that's very emotional naturally, but you never show it, you'll never admit it. Like I said, you're so stubborn. I don't know if you battle with yourself internally a lot to let this out. I feel like there might have been life experiences you've had to endure where you had to choose maybe between love and your own material desires. I don't know why that's coming through very specifically, but it just feels like love always seemed like the villain for you in your life. I don't know if that was an ongoing theme or you started to adopt that belief for yourself. It's you're such a hardcore person that you fear that even the slightest feeling or hint of feeling, letting yourself feel, can take you down a road or a route of a lot of overwhelm. You might even fear losing everything you've built for yourself. I'm going to be honest here with you, pile number 3. I'm a very blunt reader, okay? So I'm just keeping this in mind. But there is a selfishness coming up. And there's this energy of somebody who is not wanting to be willing to explore others for the sake of gaining intimacy in their relationships because they just don't, it's not that you don't care, but it feels as if you are just, you're so like against it because you're terrified of getting hurt, but you're never going to admit it to anyone. So you put it off as this front of like, I only care about myself. And that's why I think there's like this weird intermingled energy of like somebody who couldn't give two F's about others, but at the same time, they actually really care about what everyone else thinks of them, but they don't ever want to admit it, and they might never actually say it out loud. And you just want to be like accepted for who you are. I don't know if maybe in the past, like you were yourself entirely, like this shadow aspect of you was alive and it was bright and it was happy and you were embodying this full essence of you. But then there were so many people that just shat all over it and broke you again and again and again, that you started to build up so many walls up for yourself that you have so much trouble letting that part of you come out again, and you just think that it's hopeless to let it, even consider letting it out again, because you believe now that you're just not meant to have a happy ever after with people in your life, that you believe that you were always meant to be alone. Like, that's not true. That's why I feel like this shadow self version of you is such a sweetheart, because it's like they didn't even deserve to be put in the cage. You just kind of started believing that this part of you isn't good. Like, is it worthy of love, that it's stupid, that it's dumb, that it's... I'm just hearing so many horrible things. Like, I don't know if you said that to yourself. I don't know that if this is something that you believe with all your might, that this is just this part of you that's just not strong. But it is. We are meant to connect with other humans. Like, that is in our DNA. That is in our nature. We have a part of our brain that makes us be able to connect intimately with people for a reason. And you have been denying that part of you for such a long time, but I feel like you're dying. So like, there's a really big desire for you to feel seen and feel heard. And maybe you just never found the right person, but you kept thinking that the right person's just never going to come, and that it has something to do with you and your feelings or something. And that's not true, pile number 3. Like, you just haven't found the right person. You have not found the right person yet. And you will. But it's about healing this. You gotta start rebuilding your self-worth. Because your self-worth that you have now, that you possess now, this is your shadow self calling you out. I feel like this is such a hard call out right now. Pile number 3, just warning you. It's like the self-worth, the image of self-worth that you built now for yourself is very the most wrong way you could possibly think of having self-worth. Like, yeah, your self-worth is big and it's strong right now, but it's only because you built it off of logic, out of insensitivity, out of like shutting down everything that makes you you, just to get things that you want in return. Like, you're very power hungry, or maybe this part of you is very power hungry, and that's where your self-worth that you have currently is revolved around this idea of power and being powerful. But that's the wrong way to look at this. The power that you hold now is powerful, yes, pile number 3, but it's not even close to the amount of power that you'd feel if you open up that other door where the emotions lie too, and you combine it with the power you hold now. That is the almighty recipe there for success. That is the almighty recipe for experiencing life to the fullest. That is where fulfillment lies for you. You have never really felt true emotional fulfillment, pile number 3. I can feel that really hard right now inside of me. And I'm letting you know that you are gonna get it. But sometimes your walls not sometimes, but in this lifetime that you experience, you were meant to be broken down so you can learn how to rebuild yourself back up in the right way. And when these things happen, they happen the way they did to you because they were trying to teach you how to get to your goals. And you got them. But now it's about re-implementing it in the right way so you can feel a sense of fullness in yourself and get to share your life experience with somebody else. I don't know why. I just feel like there's a lot of people here watching this that just are having a lot of trouble finding love, or they've been on multiple dates. Like, I see like you're a good looking person, pile number 3. There's no doubt about that, but you're scary. Like, you have a scary energy about you that makes people not want to get to know you, or they're intimidated, or they're fearful because they don't feel safe. There needs to be more of an energy of safety revolving around you, or else people aren't going to want to open up. And then that's where the loneliness sets in. That's when you feel like you're bound to be alone forever. And it's frustrating. I can tell that you're in a very frustrated state right now, pile number 3. But you are very much being called to do this healing work. Whether it's you being honest with yourself and taking these steps forward. But this was like a really important message, because you got 444, you got 11, 11, you got 222. This is the first pile I've done today that has all these repeating numbers like crazy. Like, you guys need to know you're the chosen ones to listen to this. This is important stuff. In pile number 3, I don't normally do this, but I feel very called to. I'm gonna take a look and see if I can get a little bit more insight. Like, what would happen if you allow your emotions to come out? Like, what would happen if pile 3 allows this part of them to come out and they learn how to embrace it again? First off, we have the 5 of Pentacles, the Spirit of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the 6 of Cups, the Magician, and then last but not least, we have the Star card and the Ace of Cups. Yes, I knew it. Okay. Yes, so if you, pile number 3, were to open up this side of you, I see, okay, very specific messages coming through for you, pile number 3, but I am seeing that this is actually going to help you start attracting the right people in your life. And you might actually get, okay, this is very specific, very specific. I don't know if some of you guys went through some sort of separation with like someone who you thought was like the ultimate love of your life or something like that, but I feel like they're gonna come back, or there's this energy of somebody that was really important to you in your life is gonna reach back out to you, because somehow they're gonna just feel like they need to, and then you're gonna be in a different energy, in a different state of your life, because you're gonna have embodied both the emotional and the logical aspects of you and bring them together. So it's like gonna help kind of reroute the way that this connection was prior and make it fix itself in due time. That's one. The next thing I do see for some of you, pile number 3, is you're gonna start feeling like, oh yeah, I did accomplish all of this, and you're gonna have an opportunity to really, like, you're gonna feel more ready to start going out and talking to people. Because it's funny, like, you've been seeking or wanting more vulnerability in your life, to feel that from others, but you never knew how. So maybe you might have even kept yourself from going out to get it for yourself. Like, or maybe you had blind dates. I don't know. Like, there's this weird thing that I'm seeing where you were like, kind of, it was planned, but it wasn't something that you wanted. It happened. Maybe other people set you up on dates, or it was just online, like, dating apps or something, and then people just saw your profile, but it wasn't ever like feeling organic, or you never like put yourself in a situation to do it like purposely. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I'm just saying what channeling through me, but there's this energy of like, you're actually going to do, like, you're going to put the same energy you put into, I don't know if this is a business that you've had, or some sort of like monetary gain, a goal you've had for yourself, that's stuff that you accomplished already in your life. You're going to put that same persevering energy into the emotional aspect of your life and start wanting to go out and like meet new people. Like, I see you being fearless in that aspect where, okay, yeah, I'm gonna wear my heart on my sleeve, but I'm gonna do it in a way where it's on my own terms. Like, I'm gonna reach out to people. I'm the one that's gonna go to the bars. I'm the one that's gonna go put myself in these potential situations where I can meet someone and maybe they can end up being the love of my life. Because I do see you being seen, and I do see you meeting a lot more people. I do see you putting yourself out there a lot more and feeling like you are a new version of you than maybe you once were when you had this softness in you. Like, this is the new and improved version of that softness, like energy. It's like true divine femininity really shining through, and I see you really embodying that and allowing the right people start coming in to your circle, into your aura. Like, you're gonna start being able to attract what you've been seeking and what you've been deserving, of what your past you, what your shadow self has deserved, what this time in your life deserved this whole time. It's like you're gonna feel like you're having a whole full circle effect in your life where you had to go through all of this and then heal this right here halfway, and then now you're like, whoa, this is what I wanted. This is great. Like, it's a kind of beautiful. Pile number 3, I really loved your reading. It feels as if you are making amends with this side of you and you're becoming best friends with yourself. You're learning what it's like to really have a home in yourself to love. And so once you embody that self-love really well, you have that true emotional fulfillment that you can give yourself through this healing process. That's what's going to help you start being able to attract that right energy into your field. Because I do see that you're going to have those connections that you've been seeking, that feeling of intimacy. It could even be that pile number 3, that you weren't lacking it in others, but you were lacking it for yourself, that feeling of intimacy. There's just a lot of wounds that have to do with self-love here that keep coming through. But you are worthy of it all. Like, you've done so much for yourself. I'm hearing like you just got to look back at what you've accomplished so far in your life, and you can be proud of yourself because everyone else has been, even if they admit it or not too. That's what's coming through as well. Even if they admit it or not, they are still proud of you. You're very loved. But even as I said it, I got uncomfortable saying it because I feel like that's hard for you to hear. Or at least your shadow self has trouble saying it to you because even they need you to show them how much you love them right now. But with that being said, pile number 3, I really hope you enjoyed your reading for what your shadow self has to tell you right now. The reason why I normally just kind of stop in a way that's kind of random, at least maybe what you're feeling, I feel like every pile's been noticing that, is because I try not to speak too much for your shadow self. I want to encourage you at this time to go do it for yourself. Do some introspecting, do some journaling, do some internal asking for yourself about how you're feeling right now, because I know some of these messages can be very triggering, very hard to hear, very uncomfortable. They might be hard to sit with as well, but this is where the real healing starts. You know, this reading should be a opportunity for you to really do some self-development work, do some deep healing work, and spiritual growth in a way as well. So if this is something that sounds like you would want to dive into more, feel free to check out my YouTube channel, as my YouTube channel is all about healing and helping you step into your power, helping you become the best version of yourself, using things like astrology, chakra healing, neuroscience, and so much more, because I love doing all that stuff, and I love helping you guys step into your power, because I think we all deserve to live in the reality or the dreams that we've always wanted for ourselves. So with that being said, sending you so much unconditional love. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like this reading resonated with you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Hi, pile number 4, and welcome to your reading. If you did choose this beautiful aventurine crystal to choose your pile, then you've come to the right place, because this is exactly what your shadow self is going to want to tell you right now. The way that I do this reading, we're going to look at the oracle cards first before we dive into the tarot. And when we get to the tarot, I am going to allow your shadow self to speak through me. So I might be ending up speaking in first person at some points. It's going to be very raw and organic, so I'm going to allow everything to come through when it's meant to come through. There's no right or wrong timing of when these channel messages come through. I just kind of let them come out of me as they please. So make sure you cherry pick what resonates and leave what doesn't. Remember, everyone's reading will be tailored specifically to what they need to hear at this time. So with that being said, let's get into your oracle cards. So we're going to start with the very first card, which is the card you chose to choose your deck, which is the beautiful aventurine crystal. As you can see, we have multiple other crystals. You are actually the one pile that got the most crystals out of all the other piles. But you got many, many chakra cards, as well as sacred rebel cards as well. So with that being said, let's get into this, looking at aventurine. So, who needs it? Melancholic inhabitants of ruts and funks. Anybody with a side hustle. And when to use it: when you find yourself in a crisis of confidence and it's time to wake up, clean up, and re-up your shine. Show off your sparkle is the little message here. Next up, we have the beautiful Cavan site. I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly, so I'm sorry if I didn't. But here it is, beautiful Cavan site with who needs it? Storytellers, soothsayers, healers, therapists, and psychics. When to use it? When it's time to speak clearly and straight from the heart. When you want to get weird, ask Cavan site to make you a conduit for messages, mysterious and external. Expand your consciousness. This is intriguing to me because I feel as if there is a little bit of a call here to start listening to your inner knowing. But let us continue and see what else wants to come up. We also have Amethyst with who needs it. Train wrecks who go off the rails on the wet and wild route to Bacchanalia. I don't know what that word means, but any Pisces and when to use it. When it's time to give up the victim routine and start living with purpose, hold on tight to Amethyst. Get drunk on your highest self. Huh. Okay, so expand your consciousness, get drunk on your highest self, and show off your sparkle. There's a little bit of a theme going on here, but let us continue. Still have two more. We have Gold Tektite with who needs it. The navel gazing and brooding, binge watchers, anyone looking to hit the street with some extra swagger, Cancers. When to use it. When your get up and go has ghosted you. Banish your blahs. All right. So like a happy-go-lucky energy would show off your sparkle. This, I think, is already giving me a little bit of an idea on what this reading is going to be about, but I'm going to not say anything until we have all your oracle cards out on the table. Last but not least, we have Amber, one of my favorites. Who needs it? Tree people, old souls, anyone gearing up for a long, dark winter, and when to use it. When you need a metaphysical hug from the universe, call on Amber's cuddly electric blanket vibes and cozy up. Recharge your good vibes. All right. So there's an energy here already coming through. I'm going to place it this way, actually. That feels as if you're being called to shine more, shine bright. Like, don't be afraid to stand in your real truth. I'm going to move this over here. Because your real truth is what makes you inevitably you. I can't talk today. But let us continue. Take a look. This is peeking out, so we're going to take out this chakra card with solar plexus. Joy, already resonating. There's like a happy-go-lucky energy here. Is this like your, do you have like are you a child at heart, but you lock that out because people around you took things too seriously? Actually, I feel like putting this here. Next up, we have the sacral chakra, my bad, with service. With an astro card, we have third house messages. Okay, this is interesting. Why? Because you've got messages here in one of your crystals. Keywords as well. I believe it might have been this one. Cavan site. Expand your consciousness. When it's time to speak clearly and straight from the heart. When you want to get weird, ask to make a conduit for messages and mysterious and eternal. Third house messages. So there's definitely a big message coming through here. So let's keep that in mind moving forward. Next up, we have Black Moon Lilith, which is exactly the shadow self card, mystery. And it's mysterious. Ooh, I'm liking your reading already. Pile number 4. This makes sense. It's Lilith. Lilith is shadow side. With the Sacred Rebel, we're going to get that card out next. Ooh, this one wants to come out first. Never mind. We have the Crown Chakra with Destiny. We have Faith in the Process. This is such a remarkably gorgeous card. And I love, so this card deck, Sacred Rebel deck, is not monochromatic. So the fact that this one card is, and the one color we have here is red, and that says Faith written on the side. And it's a wagon, like this is inner child healing, my love. Your shadow self is coming from a time of your childhood. For its sacral chakra, we have self-worth. And what's beautiful here is it's cold, it's icy in this imagery, but then there's the light and it's shining on this throne and it's in the light, like it's melting things around it, but you're not standing in it. You're just watching from afar, like you don't think that you're worth it of sitting in that throne. Oh my God, so much sacral chakra energy here, pile number 4. You have guilt. And what's beautiful, this imagery, is a child here feeling guilty and this person acting like, I don't know if you were gaslit growing up. I don't know if you were verbally abused or something like that. There's just a lot of intense energy here where someone always putting you in your place when you didn't even need to be put in place anywhere. Like you were just being unapologetically you. You were a kid and they shut that part of you down so hard. Pile number 4. I have goosebumps. I feel like my heart breaks for you. Last 2 cards for Astro cards, we have Pisces, I believe. And what's funny with Amethyst, it said this is for Pisces, so maybe you're a Pisces. But when I see Pisces, I see this energy of the ethereal realms of doing things. And when I also see Pisces, I think of a child with their vivid imagination. There was a creative spark, a light in you, pile number 4, that was lost or diminished by somebody in your past. And I think this shadow self is the you that you have lost. And it's trying to come back up. And last but not least, oh, this is beautiful. We have Be the Hunter, Not the Hunted. Oh my God, this is like the best card to get that kind of ties up everything we're seeing here, pile number 4. Be the hunter, not the hunted. This is absolutely the most beautiful message I think I've ever done so far in a reading video before. And I feel so grateful to get to do it for you guys. But when we look at your oracle cards first, before we even put tarot cards into the picture, file number 4, what I'm seeing here is somebody, at least from seeing your shadow self, I'm trying to speak in the perspective of your shadow self, or even trying to describe your shadow self to you right now. I'm seeing someone who has been confined in a space, a really small space. I don't know if you're naturally claustrophobic, because I'm seeing like there's fears tied into this as well, and it gets me a little anxious because I don't like small spaces either. But there's this energy of somebody who has been put in a confined space. So I don't know if you were put in timeout a lot growing up, or there was this energy of somebody who was just locked away in their room. Something to do with just when things didn't benefit whoever this was in your life that did this to you, you were kind of put on the sidelines. And it's like you seemed annoying to them. Like, that's not fair, pile number 4. But because of this, you started believing that that part of you was annoying, so you believed the shadow self side of you was annoying, so you shunned that side of you away, and now it's gone. Well, you know what I mean by gone. It's not physically gone, like it's not gone in its entirely, but it's like repressed inside you. And this is the same part of you that knows how to live life to the fullest. This is the same part of you that believes in the magic that life has to offer. And this part of you also holds your intuition, like the most gifted aspect of you. It holds a lot of magic and wisdom because it helps you be able to see things from a lens of different perspective and imaginational truth. Like you're able to, this side of you is very smart because it's good at seeing things for what they really are, even if it's not right in front of their faces. But maybe you were too smart for your own good growing up or in this time in your life when it was shunned. And it's like the people around you maybe weren't as intuitively connected as you were at the time. So they were annoyed at you. Like they just didn't understand it. So they got frustrated and started shutting you down. And that's so unfair to you. Pile number 4, that was so unfair. Because now it's like you started not believing in yourself. You started thinking that, oh, I'm actually not that big of a deal. Oh, I'm actually very much smaller than this. Oh, I'm actually like stupid. I'm not good enough. I am worthless. I am not good enough. And you started feeling guilt that wasn't even yours to carry. Like, it feels like as if it was supposed to be the person that did this to you. They should be feeling guilty for what they did, but they think that they're the one who knows it all. They're the one that's in the seat of the throne. And I'm actually seeing as if this person was put in your life on your path to teach you this. Like, this was a soul contract that you guys made before even coming onto earth to teach each other this. There's a lot of spirituality in this reading, pile number 4. A lot. With your creativity, with that childlike self of you, holds one of the most powerful forces that I don't think you've ever really gotten to explore really far enough inside of you, because it got shunned so soon in your life when you were so young. But this part of you holds a lot of treasure and gold, priceless knowledge. I don't know if this is something you've already been trying to work on, pile number 4, because it feels as if maybe some of you watching this already go to therapy, or you have gone to therapy to work on this, or you have like a person you talk to about it, or maybe you have your own diary that you journal out about this time in your life, or something like that. Like, you've already kind of assessed it. However, your shadow self really wants to tell you that this is only like the beginning, because if you're getting a taste of what it's like to feel that emotional fulfillment in you again, because you've been going through the journey of healing, this is only the beginning. You have no idea what it actually feels like to have full love in yourself, full knowing. If you can actually assure yourself that you got this, if you can actually start seeing life in color again, like, you're gonna get to do all of that once you move through this process completely and its full cycle. With that being said, though, I do feel called to get the tarot cards out. Let's get some more additional information on this for you so we can see exactly what your shadow self is trying to tell you right now, pile number 4. So let's see, what does pile number 4's shadow self want to tell them right now? So, it's actually funny. I actually ended up getting your significator card here. So this is like the overall energy or the message of what your shadow self wants to tell you. And this card can also represent the exact essence of what your shadow self is embodying at this time. And we got the Justice card. And this makes a lot of sense, not only because the fact that it's a significator card, but it makes a lot of sense because of this feeling of you were gaslit or something in your life in the past. And it was like you were trained to believe in something that's not the truth, that's actually very far from the truth. Like, maybe you were trained to believe that you're not good enough. Maybe you were taught to believe, or brainwashed to believe, that you are not magical, that your imagination is worthless. You were taught to believe a lot of the opposite of what's actually true. And I feel like your shadow self is here to help you get justice for it, like to help turn the scales back and find that harmony, because you deserve to find your inner power again, pile number 4. You really, really deserve that for yourself. There's like good karma playing in your favor here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then we also have the 9 of Wands. I feel like placing this here. And then next up we have the Ace of Cups. I love that this started up with the Ace of Cups, guys, because this reading, I can tell 100% is all about you embodying self-love for you and like believing in yourself. Like becoming your own number 1 biggest fan, your own number 1 cheerleader in life. We have the 10 of Pentacles. We have the Spirit of Wands, which is also known as the King of Wands. We have the 5 of Pentacles. Were you taught to put everyone first before yourself growing up, or you already had like a big responsibility on your shoulders to take care of somebody? I don't know, like there's this weird energy of I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself until we get all your cards out. Next up, we have the Four of Cups. The Ace of Swords. We have two aces here. We have the Sage, which is also known as the Hierophant, in this deck. Ooh, guess this is the next card. We have the High Priestess. Wow. Okay, this is a big message coming through here. This message is so straightforward. Like, I can't see how this gets any clearer for you. Pile number 4. You have the Star card. And you have the Seven of Cups. The Six of Pentacles. Yeah, you were a giver. I knew it. And lastly, my dear pile number 4, you have the Heart of Wands, also known as the Queen of Wands. Yes, you always gave, pile number 4. In your past, or at least from what your shadow self is showing to me, you were a constant giver. Your heart was so big. So big, pile number 4. And people took so much advantage of it. Even your parents or people that were closest to you. And they used it to manipulate you into thinking something entirely different for yourself. And that is so not fair to you, pile number 4. That is so not fair. And now to this day, because of this, you struggle with believing in yourself. You struggle with loving yourself. You struggle with standing your ground when it comes to things that matter to you, things that you truly value in life. And that is just so heartbreaking to see here. I'm going to take a moment because this is a big reading and I feel like I gotta really prepare myself for what's about to come through. Remember, keep in mind, this is the part of the reading where I start to allow your shadow self to speak through me. So be aware there might be some triggering things that might come up, but make sure you take notes because this reading, I feel like it's going to be very important for you to hear at this time in your life, all right? Okay, so pile number 4. From what I'm seeing here in your reading is a big thing, actually. It feels as if, pile number 4, your shadow self really has something to tell you, and it's very big, so I'm going to let them come through so I can channel this message. Everything that you were taught growing up was a lie. You thinking you're not good enough, you thinking you're worthless, you thinking all this and that about you right now, why people don't like you, this is why, all that's not true. All of that was someone else's pain being projected onto you. And you were that pain was projected onto you at a time in your life where you didn't have a full sense of self yet. It wasn't even fully developed enough for you to know what was your pain to carry versus what was their pain to carry. So you kind of took it all on yourself. You took everyone else's pain on your back as if it was yours to carry. Their suffering was yours to carry, when in reality that wasn't true. And so, but because you were so young, because your heart was so big, you thought that you can love the hell out of those people or that person in particular to help them heal or grow or something. Like, you just loved so much unconditionally the people you care about in your life. And you did that so well that they started thinking that they can say whatever they want to say to you, whether it was brainwashing you into thinking you weren't good enough. Like, they thought they could get away with all this stuff. And you have been doing some sort of work where you're starting to recognize that now. You're starting to see that, okay, that's not true. All of this wasn't true. And it hurts to see you and me go through this because I'm the part of you that knew how to let you feel life and live life to the fullest. I'm the part of you that had the kindred spirit that you once had. You were so creative and you were so gifted in this ability to, whether it was like singing, dancing, or something to do with painting, something to do with instruments, something to do with expression. it was so lively growing up, and you got it so shunned down because everyone just didn't care. They only cared about their own pain, and they made you feel so guilty for it. Whenever it had something to do with you, you were guilt tripped into thinking, oh well, what you feel, what's important to you isn't important to others, and it's not that big of a deal, so you should just get rid of whatever's important to you and just focus on what everyone else wants around you. And that's what you did. You did that your whole life. You might even have a job that has something to do with helping other people or something to do with making the world a better place, but regardless of what this is, it makes you happy to see other people thrive and heal, but you never give that to yourself because of what everyone else taught you in the beginning of your life story. And so you need to remember that life doesn't need to be this painful, because you're actually taking in everyone else's suffering around you without even realizing it. You're like a very gifted empath, and you have no clue how to like control it right now. And it's really taking a toll on you a lot right now, because I don't even know if you're going to therapy, but there's this energy that you might be talking to somebody, whether it's in a diary, whether it is somebody, whether it is a therapist. There's something that helps you console this pain, but it's still kind of interwebbed into what's like, you're still like confused on to what's real and what's not. And it's hard to distinguish what's your pain and what's someone else's. And it's until you gain a full sense of self right now, which you are in the process of doing, that's what's going to help you really get to come to that full conclusion for yourself on what's yours and what's someone else's pain. And you're in the midst of like balancing the scales out for you right now. You are in the midst of learning how to live life to the fullest, authentically, and your truest essence of you. Because there's going to be a step in this healing process where you're going to feel really called once you come to this huge epiphany moment that you're going to feel soon. That's a big thing that's coming through for you guys, pile number 4, just saying. Where you're going to feel like you're going to want to stand up to everyone that have wronged you in the past. And there's going to be some sort of anger coming up. That anger is going to feel like a child tantrum, a child that lost their temper and is going crazy. You know, when children are really upset and they just start screaming and screeching and they're not really saying what they want, they're just really mad and they start throwing things. Like, that's what I'm seeing. There's like a little bit of an inner child anger tantrum that wants to come up because you've been doing so much for everybody around you, and you have never gotten the same amount of effort in return, and it pisses you off. But you kind of like shrug it off. You don't let people see that anger. That's why I see it being so contained, and that's the shadow self that wants to come out. Because pile number 4, it feels as if you just let it, like, you kind of like, as if you're like sweeping it off your shoulder type of energy. Like, oh yeah, like it's no biggie. Like, that's how I feel, but it's fine. Like, you're so good at just like pushing your feelings to the side, what you really want to the side, because everyone else did it to you growing up. And that's not fair to you. Pile number 4, that's not fair to you at all. It's like you're devaluing yourself. You're devaluing what you want. You think that your desires don't want you back, but they do. You think that what you dream for in life doesn't want you, but it does. And what you went through in life was there to teach you of your self-worth. It was there to wake up the true you that you're in the process of starting to get to know now. It's going to take some time still. I am seeing that this is something that maybe just recently started happening, or something you just recently started exploring within yourself or investigating in your life. So pile number 4, I do want you to keep in mind, like, I don't see this happening super soon, but I see this happening within the next year or in the next 8 to 12 months at least, and beyond that, because I do see this taking a good amount of time for you to really grasp fully, because it's a lot of memories that you're shifting through. This is a lot of intense healing, and you're going to want to take your time with it because it is intense, and you are going to want to go off on some people that have done this to you. Particularly, I keep seeing that this has to do with immediate family or something to do with whoever raised you. I don't know if you were raised in a foster system. There's just something to do with you had some sort of theme or life experience that made you start believing that what you feel doesn't matter, that what you want doesn't matter, what you think doesn't matter. Like, people could care less what you think. People could care less what you feel. Like, you were just kind of taught to not express yourself, to not stand up for yourself, to not stand up for what you want, for what you believe in. And that's not even close to how life is supposed to be. You know, you're your own person, pile number 4, and you were kind of brainwashed into being like a helper for somebody else, or some something else for somebody else, and that's not true. And so the only way you get some sort of peace within yourself is by helping others. And you love helping others, but then you take on their pain as if it's yours, and that's the wrong way to do things, pile number 4. That's the wrong way to help others heal. You're supposed to help them by making them, hold them accountable for their crap, but not taking it on and fixing the problem for them. I feel like you love fixing things for others, and that's the wrong way to look at healing or being of service to others, because when you fixed it, you're not letting them learn the lesson that they could have gained out of doing it on their own. You could be the encourager, you could be the supporter, because I think that maybe you have like a mama bear energy for you, pile number 4, but it's like, I don't know if you know how to hype yourself up yet. Maybe that's why you struggle with hyping up others, so you try to just fix the problems for them. There's just something to do about learning how to become your own leader in life, like follow in your own footsteps, learning what you want, because you are meant to shine in this life. Pile number 4. You have a big gift to provide, and the gift will be provided to the world once you learn how to love yourself, to fill your own cup before you fill others up. And in your whole life, you were taught to do the opposite, and it's made you suffer so much. But that is the wrong way to see things. Be the hunter, not the hunted. This is all about showing you your worth, showing you your true power. I feel like there might be some solar plexus blockages or something to do with sacral chakra blockages. There's a lot of the foundational chakras that need to be looked at right now for you, pile number 4. That's a big encouragement that's coming from me to you, because I do feel like there's a lot of chakra healing that needs to be done here, and you learning how to find that sense of autonomy within yourself, because I feel like the willpower needs to be born, and the only way it can be born is if you find the things that spark it inside of you. But the sparking won't happen if you don't let the rage come out. And that's why I said you should really definitely move through this process slowly, because it is intense, and there's a lot of pain and turmoil that happened in your past, and you're gonna feel like maybe you were gaslighted. So maybe things that you thought were true in the past, as you explore them further now, you're going to realize that those were actually lies that were fed to you, and then this was the real thing that was actually happening. Like, there might have been a lot of illusions going on in your past, and then you're going to face real reality as you reflect back on this stuff that happened at this point in your life, and then it's going to hit you really hard. So you are being very much encouraged. Like, your shadow self is that part of you that went through all this, and that's why it's going to be very uncomfortable, because I do feel like your shadow self here is like kind of saying, hi, I've arrived and I'm going to help you get this back. Like, I feel like this message for you, pile number 4, is more about your shadow self warning you, telling you, like, it's okay to start this healing. It's okay to continue moving through it. You don't need to feel the guilt that you've been carrying your whole life, because you've been feeling guilty for being you, and that's the wrong freaking way to see life. And the reason why this hits me to my core in a way, if you can't tell in the way I'm talking, is because my YouTube channel is literally all about helping you step into your power, step into your truth, step into your light, reclaiming your power and healing yourself from the inside out. So it frustrates me to see that you've been literally fed lie after lie in your whole life, pile number 4, to make you think that you are small, to make you think that you are worthless, to make you think that you are insufficient, that you are incapable of achieving anything you want, that what you want doesn't matter. That's so far from the truth. And it breaks my heart to see that. It's like you've been there trying to be the best for others, but you can't be the best for yourself. And I think your shadow self is here to tell you, like, this is where it's all going to start changing. As you move through your healing process, pile number 4, make sure that you take moments to pause, to reflect, check in with yourself. Whether it's through journaling, whether it's through writing in the notes portion of your phone, if you have an iPhone, because you are gonna need to do little check-in moments with yourself to see how you're doing, to see how your shadow self is doing, especially because this is gonna be some big stuff to unravel, and it needs time. It needs you to be patient. Please be patient. No one was ever patient with you in the past, but you can give yourself that patience that you've been wanting from everyone else. You can fill your own cup that you've been wanting everyone else to give for you. And you're going to attract the right people in your life that will give you what you deserved all this time once you start giving it to yourself first. So just keep that in mind, okay? I don't want you guys to think that, oh, like everyone's evil. That's not true. It's just, I guess this person was here to teach you that really early so you can become something really powerful down the road. And so I'm sending you so much unconditional love, pile number 4, because I can tell that this is a big one. This is an intense healing journey that you're about to go on. And it's big, so just take your time with it. Remember, healing is a process, not an event. Everyone heals at their own pace, and take it slow. Honor your process, honor your pace at which you choose to heal. You'll know when to stop and you'll know when to continue, okay? Just don't make sure that you don't avoid it. Make sure you don't run away from it. Make sure you recognize that you are in full control here. You're in full power of when to continue and when to stop. Don't let it take over your full experience, because that's when we can get really lost in the sauce. And there might be a little bit of a fear there because you do feel things intensely. So, that's making sure that you keep coming back to balance the logic with the emotions so you can tell what's fact and what's not as you keep reflecting back on this thing that has happened to you. And your shadow self is hyping you up. I feel like this whole message was about hyping you up to tell you, like, this is it. You are literally, like, this isn't even your shadow self coming through pile number 4. This feels like it's a spiritual council, a team of beings that are all here holding your hand or like just around you right now, trying to protect you so you can move through this, because you are one of those like precious souls that never deserved this in the first place. And I see a lot of good karma coming your way, especially because of what you went through. But it's only when you heal and you get to the other side of the coin, basically, in life, that you'll be able, and living from your living life to the fullest, like seeing life in color again, like that's when you're going to start noticing things are going to start changing around you. Things, more opportunities are going to start coming. Old things will break so new things can come and replace them. So, keep that in mind. This is where you get to control the outcome for yourself. You finally are in control here. Someone else is not in control for you. So take advantage of this. I really hope that this reading was helpful for you, pile number 4. I try not to dive too deep into these types of readings because I want to encourage you at this point to go and have that conversation with your shadow self on your own. See this reading as an opportunity to let you get a sneak peek of what healing feels like. Those ebbs and flows, the intense moments and the very precious, beautiful moments in healing that healing has to offer in its whole. And if this is a topic that you're really interested in diving into more when it comes to healing yourself from the inside out or stepping into your power, definitely check out my YouTube channel, because that's what my YouTube channel is all about here. My YouTube channel is all about helping you step into your power, helping you reclaim it, and helping you heal yourself from the inside out using the power of chakras, astrology, neuroscience, and so many more things. My channel, I dive into every single topic you can possibly think of and more. And remember, you hold the key to unlocking all of this for yourself. I don't, nobody else does. The people in your past don't. It is you, pile number 4. So just make sure you keep that in mind as you continue to move through. And definitely give this reading a thumbs up if this is a reading that really did resonate with you, or drop something down in the comments section. Let me know what pile you chose, because I love to hear from everybody here. Sending you so much unconditional love. Have a beautiful rest of your day.